Your Honours, I'm going to be dealing with specifically sections of the prosecution's final brief to illustrate perhaps how the brief should be deconstructed and particular attention paid to when assessing the strength and the merit of the allegations that are made against Ivan Cermak. Each of the prosecutors in turn, as they stood up to address you, spoke about the importance of the totality of the evidence, the totality of which of course includes the detailed footnoting of evidential references contained throughout the Cermak defence brief, none of which in passing were referred to or dealt with by Mr. Carrier when he addressed you yesterday. Neither, we submit, has the totality of the evidence been footnoted or referenced for your benefits in the prosecution document, their final brief. We have taken great pains to go through each in turn and to try and understand the basis, or whether there in fact was a basis for the submissions that have been made. And we have noted distortion, irrelevance, and serious miscontextualization of the evidence, which certainly does not reflect the totality of the evidence presented before you. To illustrate the point, I'd like to take the next 20 minutes just to go through and deconstruct some of those paragraphs in which the prosecution make allegations about Ivan Cermak's alleged authority over the MUP. The central allegation, as you heard from Mr. Carrier yesterday, is that Mr. Cermak could have used the MUP, which he controlled in Canine, to prevent and punish crimes. Instead, you are told that he used the police resources to further a joint criminal enterprise, and that in essence he was too busy colonising with Croats under the hooded cloak of normalisation to be concerned about the crimes that were taking place. If only the prosecution's case were so simple. The truth of the matter is that the totality of the evidence in this case doesn't suit the prosecution in any shape or form, and it certainly doesn't meet the standard of proof required of beyond a reasonable doubt. Neither does the concept of proper context. Only yesterday Mr. Carrier referred you to Mr. Cermak diverting police resources to advance the JCE and relied on the defence expert Albiston to support his contention, stating that this diversion of police resources would have, in Mr. Albiston's words, have had the inevitable effect of reducing police resources for more pressing tasks. Well, the citation he gave, D1776, paragraph 3.74, has nothing to do with Ivan Cermak. It's to do with consideration of an order that was given by Morwich for very good reason, which Your Honours will see when you go to that citation. I'm going to invite Your Honours to look at the prosecution brief, and I'd like to start just taking some paragraphs apart so that Your Honours can see the concern we have and that we ask you to adopt proper caution in your analysis. Paragraph 388. It is alleged that Ivan Cermak, in that paragraph, in respect of him, senior MUP officials from the Kotar Canine, Zadar Canine and Split Dalmatia PUs submitted themselves to Cermak's authority. Footnote 1099. Your Honours, without revealing the identity, that footnote firstly refers to a protected witness in this case, who merely stated that his role was not clearly defined in that extract and that he had to refer to Zadar. Nothing more, nothing less. The second reference is to a sheet of corrections by this witness. P88, page 1. Nothing there about submitting himself to Cermak's authority. Your Honours are referred to an organisational chart of the MUP by the prosecution. Nothing again in terms of Ivan Cermak. Cetina is cited. Nothing in that citation either, and we invite Your Honours to take this careful approach. JCE Jarniak section of their own brief cross-referenced to. Nothing there about Jarniak submitting himself as a senior official to Cermak's authority. In direct contradiction to these miscitations that you've been given, Your Honours, having read the briefs, are aware of what we submit is a plethora of evidence and examples and situations which demonstrate to great effect that Ivan Cermak had no authority over the civilian police. And the passages we ask you to consider begin from page 250. Your Honours, the prosecution continue and allege further that his authority extended beyond the confines of the Canine ZM AOR. Although they don't cite any testimony or witness statement evidence, they merely provide you with 2 standalone maps, not something that can get the prosecution home on that sort of allegation. They also say that the witnesses that the defence called only ever addressed the de jure authority, or the lack thereof, by Mr. Cermak over the civilian police, a central allegation they make against our witnesses. Paragraph 338 therein, Your Honours. In stating that, they also say that those witnesses failed to account for Tudjman's delegation of extraordinary authority to Cermak and the evidence demonstrating actual authority. Footnote 1102. We invite you to look directly. Nothing there to support that contention. Simply a reference to defence witness Skegro, stating that there are ministries under the President, and an organogram exhibited by General Feldy showing the position of HV Command on the 4th of August. No delegation of extraordinary authority by the President in respect of the MUP. Your Honours will recall that that matter was addressed directly with Mr. Albiston, the police expert, and we ask you without repetition to go to page 253 of the Cermak brief. It's simply not true that the defence witnesses only address the de jure aspect of authority or lack thereof. The witnesses cited by the prosecution include Albiston, P86, Sipsey, Cetina and Morich. We urge the proper contextualisation of this evidence and the need for it to be considered in its entirety. Albiston, you will recall, and I'm going to give the citations, dealt specifically many times with de facto command, none of it by Ivan Cermak over the police. Transcript pages 23948-9, transcript 2383728, transcript 24021. Dealt with in re-examination directly, transcript 24074. He even went so far as to explain his basis for the conclusions he made. We ask you to look at our footnote of the Cermak brief 1697 and the 2,000 to 4,000 documents he looked at in preparing his report, as well as the 7 orders that Ivan Cermak addressed to the MUP. We ask you to look at transcript page 24080. Crucially, he gave this chamber evidence that he would have expected there to have been a significant, in his words, volume of orders, instructions, requirements for reports as to what exactly was being done about it, if Ivan Cermak had genuine de facto command.